Hi there, this is Marie and welcome back to my channel. Today we're breaking down 3 clichés that you have about recruiters and what they want from you during a first job interview. I know there are lots of clichés about recruiters and I'm also aware that some of them are true because, well, like in every sectors, there are going to be people who are not doing their job correctly, and so they are keeping the cliché very much alive. To tell you a bit more about my background, I've started working as a recruiter in 2019 and I've been working in 3 different companies, some big, some small, so I pretty much know what it's like to be a good recruiter. But of course, I have to be honest with you and warn you that at some point you're probably going to be having an interview with someone that is definitely not a good recruiter, to put it in a polite way. So here we go. First cliché, the recruiter has the power. Before starting working in recruitment, I felt the same. I thought, well, yeah, in a job interview, of course, it's the recruiter that has the power. But when I started working as a recruiter, I realized that actually it's pretty much 50-50. Because even though on your side you're thinking, oh, this person is the one that is going to allow me to maybe get a job in this company, on the other side, for the recruiter, they are thinking, oh, well, if this candidate is very good, then my manager is going to be pleased, then our clients is going to be pleased. So interviewing people and finding the right people is what is going to show their good performance. So in the end, everyone can win something in this, you know. The main goal during a first interview between a recruiter and a potential candidate on the side of the recruiter is to know whether this person could be a right fit or not for the job and the company. Don't forget that behind the job of a recruiter, well, they also have reports to make for the managers, the clients. There are meetings where they need to speak about the candidates that they've been in touch with. So it's important for them as well to be interviewing you and to be sure that you're a good candidate. Cliché number 2, the recruiter is trying to trick me by asking difficult questions. Again, this is not true. During a first job interview, the recruiter is going to ask you a lot of questions, and some of them might sound tricky, but actually if you did your basic researches before the interview, which means getting to know the company a bit better, trying to keep in mind all the details of the job offer, then the rest is just about you. The recruiter will want to check on your professional experience. If there are any gaps, they just want a little explanation as to what happened. Depending on your level of experience, if you are a junior, they might ask about your degrees, what it was like, what kind of courses you had. And more than anything, once they know that the basics are good, they will want to know the details about your life because they want to see if you can fit in the company. So it doesn't mean just being able to do the job properly, but they are going to try to check your soft skills, what kind of person you are, what kind of culture environment would be nice for you and whether it fits with the company. They are going to ask you things about your mobility, your availability, what are your salary expectations, things like this. So this is not to trick you, it's just to be sure that you're checking everything on their checklist. Because most of the time, if you don't check everything, then it's not the recruiter that is going to really reject you, it's going to be the manager behind them or the client behind them. Of course, a recruiter can push and argue, you know, with the managers, with the clients and everything, if they believe in you. Of course, they can do this. But you have to keep in mind that most of the time, they are not the one making the decision. Also, you may think that the first interview is just a lot of questions, but once again, the goal there is really to be sure that this candidate is interested and that this candidate is a good one. Because I can tell you there are so many people who are going through rounds of interviews and they arrive at the end of the process. The clients select them, they love them, everything is fine. and then at the last minute, the candidate just withdrew. Like they're like, oh yeah, but I didn't tell you, but I had another process with another company and they pay better, so in the end I'm going to sign with them. That's why there are so many questions that are going to be asked, and some are going to ask you for exercises to check your abilities and stuff like that. Because it happens so many times that it's the people ghosting recruiters, consultants, companies near the end of a process. Of course, it depends from one sector to another, but please keep in mind that for all the negative ideas that you have of a recruiter, people who didn't respond to you, or interviews that didn't go well, where they were rude and stuff like that, recruiters get the same from the candidates as well. So let's all try to be, a good recruiter, a good candidate, and let's, respect each other, tell each other things when there are problems or when we think we are not interested anymore. It's important to communicate well and to let people know it's great if you find another opportunity elsewhere, but just tell the other companies with whom you were having interviews as well, so they don't consider you anymore for the position. And cliche number 3, an interview is just about trying to sell yourself. Well, for this one, I would say yes and no. Yes, because of course you will have to present yourself, you will have to explain what you did, your achievements, and why you think this job would be a good fit for you and why this company would be a good fit for you as well. So in a way, it's not really about selling yourself. It's just that you have to be able to speak in a clear and concise way so that people understand you well, and it's just the basics, It's not a selling technique. It's just being able to speak in a professional way without stuttering, without searching for your words every 2 sentences. And it's a skill you have to develop because, of course, it's great during an interview, but it's going to help you in every aspect of your life. So I'm not saying just be yourself and it's going to be enough. I'm just saying if you're at the best of what you can do, then you're not really selling yourself. You're just talking about yourself. This is just you and the recruiter trying to understand you better, trying to see if you fit with the company. So if you feel like you don't know how to sell yourself, don't worry, this is not the goal of the interview. As long as you know yourself, as long as you did your little research before coming to the interview about the company, the job position, maybe if you find other details about maybe the culture or the kind of management that they have. And if you didn't find this kind of information, ask them. The company culture, the kind of management that they have, it can help a lot. You're trying to see if a partnership is possible between you and this company. So of course the recruiter is going to assess you, but you also have to assess the company that you're applying for. You have to ask the good questions in order to see if it's going to be a right fit with you or not. Because if you don't ask the questions during interviews, then maybe you're going to get hired, but maybe you're going to be fired, or maybe you're going to quit after like 1 month or 2 because this is not the right fit. Trust me, it happened to me. Just ask all of your questions. All the questions that you can have about anything and everything in the company, in the management, about your manager, everything. Just try to make a list before the interview so you have them in mind. And for example, for the management style or things like this, maybe the recruiter of the first interview won't have all the details about it, but the fact that you ask, they're going to take notes and they're going to relay the information and the questions to maybe the next person you're going to be interviewed by, so do it. Also, it just shows that you're interested if you're asking questions, if they see that you did your research about the company, everything. It just shows that you're interested, and this is very important. More than trying to sell yourself or why you're so good for the job, show that you're truly interested in the position and in the company. So this is it for today. There will be a more detailed article on Wednesday on the blog, so check the link to the website in the description if you would be interested in having more info about this. There are just so many cliches about recruiters, so that's why I only picked 3 because I didn't want to do a video of like 30 minutes or more. If you would be interested in having more of this kind of video, just let me know in the comments. Also, if you like the video, as always, feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe. You will find in the description as well a link to a document where you can have a list of the typical questions that you could find during a first interview and the things that you should prepare on your side, the kind of research on the company and the job that you should do so that you feel perfectly at ease with the questions. So feel free to check it out if it might be useful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!